Hi, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the Bill of Rights. And before we start that, there's something called an amendment. And an amendment is an addition or change to the Constitution. So we've talked about the Constitution already in this class. It sets up the government of the United States. Article 1 set up the legislative branch. Article 2 set up the executive branch. And then Article 3 set up the judicial branch. And the Bill of Rights, are the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. So remember, an amendment is an add or change. So they added these 10 amendments to the Constitution. And these lay down kind of the basic rights of people in the United States. The First Amendment is the freedom of speech, religion, petition, press, and assembly. So you have the freedom to speak. You can say whatever you want in the United States. You have the freedom of religion. You can be any religion. The government can't tell you what religion to be. There's petition. If you don't like something, you can get people to sign and agree with you and try to change it. There's also press. There's newspapers. There's news on the radio, news on television. The press can say whatever they want. And then there's assembly. If people don't like something, you can go protest, hold signs, say that you don't like it. Now, the Second Amendment, that's the right to bear arms, which means to own a gun. Arms is simply gun, and bear is that you're holding it. So in the United States, you are allowed to have a gun. The Bill of Rights says that. The Second Amendment says you can own a gun. The Third Amendment is troops cannot be quartered in a house. And this means the government cannot force you to keep military troops inside your home. When the United States was part of England, you used to be forced to have troops inside your house. They would put the military in your house if they're in the area. But now the government cannot do that. You can say, no, I don't want the military to live in my house tonight. Fourth Amendment is protection against unreasonable search and seizure. So the government needs to have a warrant to go on your property. So if the police go to your house and knock on the door, you do not have to let them in. They have to have a reason to go inside your house. They have to have a warrant, something signed by a judge saying, yes, you can look in this person's house. Same thing with cars or anything that is your property. Police are not allowed to go inside of it. The Fifth Amendment, it's the right to remain silent during a trial or arrest, and there's no double jeopardy, which means you can't be charged with the same crime, and the right to due process, which is fair treatment. So if you're ever arrested or if you go on trial, you do not have to say anything. You can simply say, I plead the Fifth, which means you're not going to talk. If the police are asking you questions, you do not have to talk. There's no double jeopardy. So if you're charged with stealing something and you're found not guilty, the police can't charge you again. You could only be charged for a crime once. And the right to due process, which means fair treatment. If there's someone really rich, they should be treated the same as someone who's really poor when they're being arrested and taken to court. And the Sixth Amendment is the right to a speedy trial by an impartial jury and the right to a lawyer. So a trial has to be fast. It's not supposed to be slow. Your trial should not take 10 years if you're arrested, because then you're going to be in jail for a long time for something you didn't do. And you have the right to an impartial jury. If you're a United States citizen, you have to serve on a jury. It's not an option. You're the one who decides if somebody who goes to jail or not. So there's a jury. And you have the right to a lawyer. Lawyers are expensive. And if you can't afford one, the government will give you a lawyer. You have the right to a lawyer no matter what. And then the Seventh Amendment is the right to a trial by jury in a civil case over $20. And a civil case is when someone is suing another person for money. So a civil case, nobody's going to go to jail in a civil case. But let's say someone was working on your house and they never finished the roof and you paid somebody $1,000 and they didn't do it. You can sue the person. You can say, I want my $1,000. And it goes to trial. And this is the jury. They're the ones that are going to say, yes, you should get your money back, or no, you don't get your money. Eighth Amendment It prohibits excessive fines and cruel or unusual punishment. So this just says the government can't fine you. Let's say you're caught, you have a speeding ticket, you're going too fast. The police can't give you $1 million fine for going fast. That's excessive. It's not fair. And you can't have cruel and unusual punishment. So the police can't beat you. They can't electrocute you. They can't make you sit somewhere cold. There can't be unusual punishment. And the Ninth Amendment just says rights not included in the Constitution belong to the people. So if it's not in the Constitution, people are allowed to do it. The government can only stop you from doing what's in the Constitution. Otherwise, people have the rights. And the 10th Amendment is powers not given to the federal government go to the people in the states. So if there's no federal law about something, states can decide what to do with it. Just like there's no rule at this school that says you're not allowed to eat food in the class. There's just no rule for that. So each classroom gets to decide if kids can eat food in the class. Just like for the federal government, there's certain laws that there's no law for. So that means states can decide. So powers not given to the federal government go to the people in the states. If you guys have any questions, let me know.